Peace, Love and Potatoes is a poetry anthology by John Hegley. I was attracted to the book initially because it's bright blue and orange, and I subsequently ended up writhing on the floor of Waterstones for 15 minutes until I eventually regained my sight. Once I did, however, the tagline of Comedy Poet Laureate caught my attention so much that I had to buy it there and then. So naturally I went home and bought it on Amazon for less money. The poems themselves are quite a hodgepodge of very different subject matters, though there are some running themes including family, grandparents, upbringing, and childhood. The poems can be quite reflective and heartwarming one minute, and then utterly bizarre and satirical the next. One example is the first poem in the book. Do you have bendy buses, or are you jet propelled? Do you have those things on tube trains to be held on when it's crowded? I don't know what they're called. How much is there in your world that you haven't got a name for? Is it the stars you aim for? Do you ever get appalled when your brand new central heating has been shoddily installed by a bunch of cowboys? Are you green? Are you translucent? Do you have any pets? Do you have mental illness or menthol cigarettes? Do you ever feel you don't fit in with all the rest? Do you feel like an outsider? Like a money spider in a nest of penniless termites? Do you ever say, to be honest? Do you ever say, for my sins? Or are truthfulness and repentance where another world begins? Do your bins get emptied on a Tuesday? Do you have three-legged races you compete in all on your own? Do you have stripy deck chairs that get windblown when they're vacant? Is there anybody out there? Have you got ears for this? Have you got liver tablets? Or the equivalent of Bristol? Do you wear a pair of glasses, but maybe you have eyes? Do you start off as a baby and then increase in size, but lose your sense of wonderment in the process? Do you ever get on a crowded train and have to put your luggage in the vestibule? And do you ever sit in the seat nearest the door so you can keep your eye on it? And then more people get on, and you have to stand up and say, "Excuse me, could you move out of the way, please? I cannot see my luggage." As promised on the front cover as well, the poems are quite a humorous collection. But while some of the poems are funny as a side thought, others seem to be dedicated to making you chuckle, often playing around with very bizarre scenarios, and even making recommendations on the best ways to keep your temper in check. Alternatives to losing your temper. Sit on your hands. Visit the Hebrides. Knit. Unknit your brow. Build a model of your anger out of matches. Catch a falling star and put it in a poem. Watch a soap. Make some soap. Send the world a message of hope. Coil up in a medicine ball. Call a nurse. Reverse. Close your eyes and do the washing up. Sing. Pray. Have a fig roll. Have a nice day. The collection also contains a few nods to literary greats such as John Keats and Daniel Defoe. Indeed, the former the collection dedicates no less than 3 poems to. For me, though, the best poems in the collections are the ones that make slightly tongue-in-cheek pop culture references. Some are very nostalgic and do slightly escape me, if I'm honest, whilst there are others that are very up-to-date. Delighting the Daleks. In the Gloucestershire classroom, we did a Dalek drawing workshop. I wanted to get each girl and boy to give their Dalek something to increase the peace and decrease the desire to destroy. To spread a bit of Dalek joyfulness. A few of the children gave their creature a friend, one was given a bath, another was given some toast, and one of the Daleks got pregnant. And just as if this collection of frantic free verse and desperately funny poetry wasn't enough, the collection is peppered with several illustrations that are credited as largely by the author. Look at that, it's a Dalek. The illustrations themselves are pretty childlike. They're certainly not going to end up in the Tate anytime soon. Even so, it adds a wonderful element of charm to what is already a witty and very charming collection of poems. So my question for you this week is this. Has an odd scenario ever inspired you to write poetry? As an added challenge, if you still have the poem knocking around, then I want you to make a video response reading it out to the world. Thumb the video if you like the idea of pregnant Daleks, and feel free to share the video with the world. And some potatoes. The collection is peppered with several illustrations. Turn the socket on. That's how electricity works. Stop auto-focusing.